I'm looking back at the albums I heard growing up. Not like Headquarters or Headhunters, just the deeper cuts. Here are the albums that made me. One of the rumors flying around in the mid-'80s was that, despite the fact that the Police were the biggest band in the world, they all kind of hated each other. And certainly when Sting released a solo album in 1985 that sounded nothing like what he'd been doing with the Police, it all seemed at least plausible. As much as I loved the Police, honestly, the first time I heard Fortress Around Your Heart, I was kind of all in as far as Sting's solo work was concerned. There was something about the partial chords used for the verses that was simultaneously simple yet unintuitive that made me want to listen more closely. Plus, the lyric imagery was pretty cool too. I got the cassette copy of Dream of the Blue Turtles as soon as I could and listened to it repeatedly. Well, the same is true for Nothing Like the Sun and the Soul Cages, actually. It's funny. Think that the span of those 3 albums was, for me, ages 15 to 21. So I went from living with my grandmother in Wauchula with no car to dropping out of FSU, working 2 jobs, and playing in a band in Tallahassee. Anyway, back in the day, it was the songs Russians and Children's Crusade that moved me the most. I mean, hey, I was 15. Of course I was drawn to the existential songs about war and death. But to this very day, whenever I hear the phrase, "you can say that," my brain will immediately start spinning Consider Me Gone. But I mean, of course, I have to mention the band on this album. Omar Hakim, Daryl Jones, Kenny Kirkland, Branford Marsalis. And yes, there are moments of high energy, like on Shadows in the Rain, virtuosity, like on the instrumental track The Dream of the Blue Turtles. But there's also restraint and subtlety. A good portion of Moon Over Bourbon Street, for example, is just an upright bass, a stepped hi-hat, and some improvisation on sax. And it sounds great. The standout tracks for me, well, I kind of mentioned them already, Shadows in the Rain and the title track, The Dream of the Blue Turtles. Final analysis, is this an album I still like? Turns out I do. Is this an album I still spin regularly? I haven't spent a lot of time with Sting in the past few years, but after listening recently, I might start adding it to my rotation again. And would I recommend The Dream of the Blue Turtles? Yeah, I think so. There seems to be some sort of something in popular culture that finds it hip or at least expedient to look down on Sting, but his first 3 solo albums have some amazing music.